Yesterday saw the release of a massive patch for Microsoft Flight Simulator in the form of World Update 1. The patch also brought with it a number of other fixes and changes, so let's take a look. Currently, Microsoft Flight Simulator contains hundreds of extremely detailed photogrammetry cities, along with many more thousands of AI-generated cities, but there's always room for improvement, and as such, Microsoft have committed to the long haul with this title. The first major update then brings a complete overhaul of Japan, and this includes complete remapping of the entire country with new elevation data. 6 cities have been improved with photogrammetry data, and these are Sendai, Takamatsu, Tokushima, Tokyo, Utsunomiya and Yokohama. 6 new highly detailed airports have also been added, in addition to around 20 new points of interest and custom landmarks. Now, some of this you can see in the background right now. As soon as you load up the sim after installing the latest update, the first thing you will likely notice is the new Tour of Japan option on the main menu. This is an additional update that requires another 1GB download from the marketplace. However, this is a free update. As the title implies, this will take you on a tour of Japan from the southern cities up to the north. Flying the Beechcraft, you will fly over various points of interest on your journey, which is timed to take a little over 2 hours. It's a great introduction to the update, allowing you to see many of the additions and changes that have been added to the country. Now, this is a big update. It released fairly late last night UK time, so I haven't had the time to fly over each of the updated cities. However, flying around Sendai and Tokyo make it clear that this is indeed a vast improvement. It's also a great way to see some classical Japanese architecture. For me personally, there is literally hours of flight time here in terms of tourism and sightseeing. Now, elsewhere, the update does contain numerous other fixes and changes, and yes, you probably won't be surprised to hear that there's also a few problems that have been introduced, which I will get to in just a moment. First though, Microsoft released some extensive patch notes, which you can find linked in the video description. At the top of the list, there are some airport improvements. These state that 60 separate airports have been improved and updated based upon community feedback. Now, it doesn't go into detail on exactly what these improvements are, but I would imagine, for the most part, they contain fixes to some of the airports that had errors and faults of some type. In terms of US airports, Asobo have added new control towers to 700 airports. Looking at a few standout points from the rest of the patch notes, the UI problem caused by the previous update has been fixed, and this one caused the sensitivity screen to not work. There's also numerous other UI improvements and fixes as well. Apparently, the manual cache management UI has been improved. I did take a look at this, and whilst it's been a while since I last used the manual cache, I couldn't see any standout changes, but the manual cache in general did seem to be a bit more responsive and zippy. There are dozens of other fixes in the update, so if you're interested in those, it's worth taking a look at the patch notes. In short, there's updates to the avionics, animations, airliners, the marketplace, the content manager, and much more. Moving on to a particular problem that I've seen discussed on the official forums, we come to some graphical changes. There's a few of these, but in particular one to do with water reflections. Now, these are mentioned on the patch notes in terms of actually being improvements. The patch notes say the following. Ocean rendering has been improved, wave scale and foam and reflections. Water masks has been edited to display actual aerial image near the shore in some areas. Luminance has been tweaked for some photogrammetry cities. Fixed terraforming issues, water elevation has been updated, and fixed detail map rendering. Now, in short, numerous fixes and improvements then. However, in my initial look at the update, water specifically really seems to have some issues. Over oceans and seas, you can see the waves don't look quite so good, at least as far as I can tell. There seem to be far more obvious repeating texture patterns to the waves, for example, and that is very noticeable here. But beyond that, and focusing on the topic raised on the forums, is an issue of reflections. This may be a bug, and as such be an unintended change, but it also may be an intended downgrade. I guess we'll have to see on what Asobo say about this. But numerous simmers have noticed that there is a downgrade in nighttime reflections in the water. This is especially noticeable in these screenshot comparisons that are from the forums. There's also many other such comparisons on the forum thread. The forum thread is linked below, so do go take a look. It's worth checking out. In my own recordings, you can see what's going on. Quite clearly, building lights are not being reflected by the water. But that said, it seems that handcrafted objects are still providing reflections, as we can see here in the Statue of Liberty. So whatever is going on here, it definitely shows that there's a change of some type, and it's definitely not for the best. Let's hope then that Asobo are able to talk about this sooner rather than later and get a fix out for it. Overall though, the Japan update is a very good one. It very much shows the direction Microsoft and Asobo want to take the sim in, and over the next few months, Microsoft Flight Simulator is without a doubt going to see a huge number of improvements. I'm looking forward to seeing what those are. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.